everybody, and welcome back to the season finale of Short Film Saturdays. This is the second season finale, and we're gonna give you a big episode. This is a longer than we normally do because there's more shorts, and we decided why not for the last episode give you guys something fun. So we all three of us had gone to Scares That Care, and we saw got our cookie. Paul's got a cookie too, double tree cookie. And we're gonna.
I've already nom mine.
Yeah, I have not, but I will. And I also got my Scares That Care mug.
I got tea. Yum 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 yum.
Coffee.
The water.
So there you go. We're all drinking something different. Everything's different. All right, we got different backgrounds. So good. All right. So we went to Scares That Care, obviously. We're going to talk about that. And we did there was like a collection, a block of short films at the end. I think it was the last of the day, they said. So that was it for the day. And it ended at like 6. And started like 5:22 or something ish, And so we were like, let's watch this. It was Saturday, why not? We hadn't really watched that many short films at the convention or anything, so let's go check these out. And so we planned on it, and then we planned that we were going to do this review. The first short film was I want to say it was Spanish, so maybe it was Mexican film. It was called 665, which I'm guessing because the devil is 666, that was the idea. What?
He is?
I guess that's the mark of the beast.
Well, they had some pictures at the beginning too in the opening with numbers on it. So
yeah, and I kind of thought it was going to be like a serial killer thing. Like each one was like this victim was 661, next 662, next 663, 664, and that this was going to be 665. There was this woman tied to the bed, pregnant. It's all in Spanish though, so I don't really know exactly.
And there were no subtitles.
Yeah,
and they warned you, I guess, because Joe told us, they had said something
It was weird. She gives birth to a baby, and then the guy throws it in the trash can, and the guy stabs her, and then she laughs at him, and then a demon comes out, and then she gives birth again.
I thought the guy killed the baby.
Yeah, he very sounding graphically. They didn't show that, but they graphically, you heard the.
Yeah, he was killing the baby out of her and everything. Yeah,
there are two babies.
Yeah, one was grown from the demon, right? Is that what you're talking about?
I guess it was the reborn version, I guess.
Well, I'm guessing my idea was this was basically this was an antichrist kind of thing where the baby was not supposed, was supposed to end the world, and maybe this guy was helping destroy, so the 665 what is it storyline here, it says 2 antagonistic forces fight over a woman's unborn child. On the result depends on our salvation.
One was born, he threw in the trash can, then another one was born after he stabbed the living shit out of her. And
because the demon brought it to life and everything.
I think the guy was trying to I don't say save himself and sort of sacrifice maybe the mother or the baby so he can get out free himself. I don't know. I mean, maybe the subtitles might have helped, but or maybe it's just
Moody, are you saying the demon saved the baby that was thrown in the trash can?
No, created a whole new baby, I think, or something.
Well, if the demon could have done that, they didn't even need the woman, did he?
Well, no, I mean, he needs a woman to give the birth to the child, I guess, but that's it. I don't know. It was such a strange movie. I don't know what it
was confusing.
Yeah, it was very confusing. I really didn't like it. Just because if I had the subtitles, I would have understood it. And maybe there is a version of it online somewhere with subtitles,
Well, I think what it said outside on the sign was that they didn't submit the subtitled version, so it was just an FYI that hey, it's not subtitled. So that was when I mentioned that it wasn't, but I think there is a
it
version.
was
But
professionally done. It looked good.
Right.
The acting was intense, and all of that stuff was good. I just didn't understand. Part of it was because of the language thing, but just I was confused with the multiple babies. That's just was just strange.
Yeah. So anyway, that was 665. So that's our little mini review of that. I guess this isn't actually, this is going to be quick because a lot of these were kind of quick kind of things. So this,
well, that one was only like 9 minutes or something like that. I think it said.
Yeah, and honestly, it felt like it went on too long because I mean, if I didn't understand what was going on, I was just like, okay. I kind of squirmed in my seat a little bit. I bet Paul could see that because he was right behind me. But I was just like kind of bored, like I want this to move along. And
I was just like, oh, that's a fun movie.
Yeah.
Paul
was doing Indie Film Cafe like commentary in the middle of a fucking theater, and I was almost gonna tell him to shh because we were it was not like being at our studio where we could say whatever the fuck we want. If we were around,
I say whatever the fuck I want.
I know, but anyway, next we have the blacked box, which okay, so at first I started getting like Stay Tuned vibes from it. If you guys ever seen that movie, and I was like, oh, that's where this is gonna go. Like
really good cult classic comedy,
right? And I love that movie. I was part of Hollywood Knockbusters already because I love that movie. I think it's great. But this
Terror Tunes is what I was thinking.
Terror Tunes, yeah, something like that. But it sort of was kind of meh because. What happens is this guy goes over to I guess he sort of was like a drug dealer kind of guy or whatever, but he was not dealing drugs. He was dealing this satellite.
Yeah,
system.
he buys a satellite box off a shady internet guy that he doesn't, I guess his girlfriend's like, don't buy stuff from that site. It's like a black ops site. And the guy's like, oh yeah, just make sure you follow the directions. Follow the directions.
And he's like, fine.
To the letter.
Yeah, dude, whatever. Oh, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So you know what's going to happen. He's not going to follow the directions. And yeah.
Yeah. So he does. So he goes home. His girlfriend yells at him and says, don't, I can't believe you did this again. You're being very selfish.
Again.
Whatever.
Again.
Right? Again. So he goes and he sets it all up. And the first thing that he turns on, first television, I guess, show was about following directions, or whatever. And it was this two people who, and it says in the beginning, please follow all the directions that we give.
Black and white 1950s kind of a thing.
Yeah,
had a little Pleasantville setup, kitchen or living room setup and stuff like that. Or WandaVision, I guess, to a degree. I mean, but
any of those.
And the
Leave It to Beaver. Yeah, Leave It to Beaver.
Setting up a TV and he's not following the directions, and
right,
the wife is like, follow the directions, dear.
And then after a while, it tells the guy to pay $9.99 for the rest of your stuff, right? Now,
like hell with that.
I can tell you this. I mean, I would be happy with having to pay $9.99 after I've already, or whatever. But
yes,
sadly, you have to do. If he had the money to do it, he should have done it just to, whatever. But he didn't know what was going to happen. So it said pay $9.99, and then it goes back to the people working on the instructions, and the woman's like, do follow the instructions, and the guy's like, I am, honey. It was like, she says, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to him, or whatever. And he's just like, okay, whatever. And so they said, well, then you're going to be terminated. Your account's going to be terminated in 10, 9, 8, whatever. And it gets terminated, which means that his girlfriend gets killed by
who doesn't deserve it. She's the one who called out this bullshit in the first place.
Yep. And so then she dies, and then it ends.
Spoilers, huh?
Yeah. there's spoilers in this reviews because it's too short. You can't really
Right.
not give spoilers. But anyway, so if you haven't seen it, I mean, guess you could probably find it on YouTube somewhere or something.
My biggest thing with this is, that's this sort of thing. I mean, we've seen a million times before in various other things, and that's fine. But again, it's not the douche nozzle who gets it. It's the poor girlfriend who's, we told him from the beginning not to do this crap, is the one who ends up paying for it, which annoys me.
Yeah, she was like the responsible. She's in the kitchen cleaning up and being a good second half of a relationship and all, and he's sort of doing his own thing, and it sort of comes back, and
he's the baby man.
Yeah. So anyway, it was meh. Like honestly, I was kind of sad that they didn't show you more channels, and it was just that one.
Right.
And I think that was what the biggest bummer for me on this whole thing was, like, you have the chance to like go stay tuned where it's like different exclusive things, and it'll be like leave it to Beaver, but it's a porn or something. And
the thing is, I think
like
it would have been a stronger thing if it instead had been a cable box, which is all this really was. If it had been something like, something to boost your internet that also lets you get into like the dark web or something like that. You know what I mean? That would have been a little bit more sinister and a little bit.
That's where supposedly he got the black box from, was the dark web, because she was talking about the websites that he goes down or whatever. So I don't know.
Yeah, but I think it's elaborating a little bit on you guys' point about having a second story, because I kind of, our second piece in it. I like the 50s get up of that one room a little bit, and I think that if they could have done a second channel and maybe he did listen the first time, maybe there wasn't money or something, that they could have bridged it a little bit more to show a little bit of evolution of a story or something that could have
either that. I would love if they had like kidnapped him and brought him into their black and white universe and then tortured the shit out of him.
Yeah, and then killed him in there. Yeah,
that would have been fun. And then maybe the girlfriend finds them and says, "I told him."
Exactly. I told you not to do it.
Yeah, that would have been a better ending, honestly. But the way it ended, it was sort of boring. Like, I mean, look, here's the thing with short films. Short films are ways to tell stories that you can't tell in a feature film, right? Because it goes on and on and on. But like short films are a way to kind of just make it like quick.
They're harder. They really are harder, because you got to tell that story without filler, without horse shit. You got to sort of go boom, boom, boom and get what you got to say out, or else it's just not going to work.
Yeah, because I've been completely bored by movies in the first like 3 minutes. And I'm like, oh my God, this has 20 minutes left. Oh my goodness, or whatever. This movie, I mean, they're pretty quick. So, it's not, this might have been like 10 minutes or something, or whatever. And it still felt like too long, and everything. And so,
but, again, production wise, it looked pretty good. I didn't see any problems. Acting wise, everybody was okay, even the douche nozzle. And it looked, like I said, the production values were pretty good. So if it's a demonstration on what these guys can do, just like the first movie, I'd say it's a good thing to show off what they can do. Now, it may not have been the best story wise to have done, but at least it shows off what they're capable of doing.
Exactly. Is there anything else we want to discuss with this, or move on to the next one?
Nah, meh.
All right.
Is that what you did? Meh.
Yeah, meh. All right. So let's move on to the next one. Is Escalation, which I thought was the most well shot movie.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like it had camera tricks, it had whatever. What it lacked was story.
Yeah, it was the most ridiculous story of the bunch.
I know, and it was kind of the most like once again goes on too long, and everything. And after a while, I'm just like, get to the punchline, which we do get to the twist or punchline or whatever by the end of the movie. And it's not something we haven't seen a million other times, or whatever. And the theme is sort of
evil masked guy on the TV is somehow ultra powerful, and he can make you do shit that you don't want to do. And
so Escalation is about, basically is about this guy who during the pandemic, they make sure to talk about that, the pandemic and COVID. and everything, he ends up I guess like sort of promising people things to do, but then he ends up kind of backing out on them, because he just wants to be by himself and kind of get into the reality of television, and just kind of dive into that.
And he's like, making comments on it too. Oh, this movie's terrible. This stuff is awful.
Right. And I'm like, why watch it? Why are you watching it?
Exactly.
Like, I mean, Paul watching terrible movies, he loves it, and stuff. And so if he's saying this is terrible, it's usually like, this is terrible, I love it. This guy was just like, this is terrible.
Although I probably, especially A, I would not have had that really swanky place, and B, I would not be watching them while I'm trying to cook.
Right. Yeah. Makes.
Well, I think he was kind of I think he was kind of isolating himself because of COVID, maybe, or something. He was sort of containing his world or something there, and stuff was sort of eating him out from inside or something. It just seemed like he was really aggravated with everything and just sort of all consumed him. So I mean, I think that there's more there, but I'm not sure which version we saw, because I read that there's a longer, like a 28-minute version, and this seemed longer. This seemed longer than 15 minutes, like what our program said. I can't remember the exact. It just seemed a lot longer. They say there's a lot gorier version. The 28-minute version they had to trim.
We didn't watch that.
We
didn't watch that.
No,
I think it was.
This was clearly done to show off the gore effects and the camera effects.
Yeah, but still, the 15 minutes, it was pretty gory for what it had in there, and stylistically, I thought it had some good style to it. It just there was some.
It did.
Yeah, and I think from my understanding, isn't it the star also was the writer and director as well?
I think we pointed that out, because it was like he did everything. Oh, writer. Oh, director. Oh, editor.
And the other problem I had, and I don't know if you guys have, but it reminded me of Actium Maximus. I couldn't understand the guy half the time, and I could not understand the entity at all.
You needed subtitles.
Something, man. So if there was something important that guy was saying, went way over my head.
I know. And so
I guess that's the theme of all these reviews, is that it needs subtitles, huh?
Yeah. Well, I think
the first one.
Thing. I think that's the funny thing. It's like when you go to a film festival, unless it is a foreign film, you don't normally get subtitles anyway, or whatever. You go to a theater, you don't get subtitles. I wonder if that's going to end up being a thing that one day they'll just be like, you know what, everybody's watching stuff with subtitles now. Let's just put them in the theater and everybody can watch it with subtitles. Or I guess you can't do it with or without it. You have to, maybe you go to a movie, a Showtime that has subtitles, or one that doesn't,
I think they put an actor in there that doesn't have such a thick accent.
Yeah.
No,
it's true. I think they're starting to have, I saw an article or something on it recently that more and more of this generation's liking their stuff to be open caption, or like the captioning at the bottom and all, where they could read it even if it's in English. So it's just, I think it's because people watch stuff on their phones and small devices, and
it's mainly because people can't hear audio real well when it's compressed down to digital, or whatever. And so even in the theaters, sometimes you can't hear things real well. I mean, even with it being that loud. So it just, I think there was an article about Christopher Nolan and Tenet did that on purpose, to, have the sound where it would be lower, that you can't hear what they're saying, because like sometimes when somebody's wearing a mask, you can't actually hear what they're saying,
Yeah,
and
very true.
But
again, just to harken back to like the other movies, again, the production values were all there. Like you said, this definitely had a lot more digital and camera effects that were more successful than the others. This had a little bit more production value to it. Seems like they spent a little bit more money towards it. It looked like it was shot in HD. And I did like the direction, and I did like, the lighting was actually decent. The sound was actually good, other than the dialogue. So there were definitely some positives.
You couldn't understand you couldn't understand like what the Gaelic mumbling or whatever was going on. But
when he's like going help.
Stylistically though, this was I really second your opinion on that. This was the best one to look at of them, in my opinion. Anyways. Yeah.
So
but it should have been shorter though. I think
should have been shorter, because I know we were both all like, "Oh, come on."
I know. Well, I think because at one point when the entity is making him do everything, like he's controlling him to like make his hands move and everything. After a while, I was like, okay, so they're gonna end it with like something was coming down on his head, and he's just gonna die like that. Nope, that's not how they, and then you find out that the entity was him all along or something,
Yeah.
or whatever.
They had to show him eating his hands and stuff like that,
And
or
then
whatever it was.
yeah, it turned
Shoving
out
his
to be
finger down
him.
throat,
Like
yeah.
it opened up the mask and it was him. And I'm just like, I've seen that like a million times, and I would have preferred it if it wasn't that ending, like that it was
Granny.
that yeah, maybe it could have been anything, anything else. Maybe it was the friend that was on the phone with him or something,
Or
or
he was
whatever.
complaining about some old lady that he didn't want to meet because she's old and
Yeah, whatever.
So maybe this whole thing was all in his head. There was not. I mean, he was there. Nothing came out of
If
the
that
thing.
were the case, I would hate it. I
it
hate
was all a dream.
that. Exactly. Like that kind of shit just pisses me off. I can't, at least here it looked like, okay, so now he's in that movie or whatever, in that thing. So he's probably
Yeah.
going to be doing this to the next person, and then the next person who's whatever will take his place.
I think he was. It was just something. His own psyche was eating himself out from inside. So I think it's contained to just him as one guy. So I guess on that note, you wouldn't like it, but for me, that's the way I took this. Is that it was all internal, and it's kind of a commentary on COVID. To be honest,
the trouble with that is
isolation.
that if this is really what's happening, why doesn't he just turn the fucking movie off?
Right.
Because he's gone mad. It would be my assumption. I mean, out of that, but yeah. So it's.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the best thing about this movie, is that you can debate or talk about it.
Yeah.
There's no answer right now.
And I guess so, but there's because it's a short film, there's no buildup. We don't we have no inclination or no hint or nothing to tell us about this supposed madness.
So what I say about a lot of short films is they would probably be better stretched out as a feature, sometimes, because then there might be more of a story and we would get more, like this would be the good version of an ending to a.
If instead of the friend, it had been the guy's psychiatrist saying, "Oh, I'm calling up to make sure you're okay. You haven't been to our last few meetings. You've been having some serious psycho issues, and I'm really concerned about you." And he'd be like, "Oh, whatever." And then you have all of this. Then I could buy the whole madness thing because we've been primed for that. You know what I mean? This came out of nowhere, so
yeah.
I just think he was just going mad within himself, and that's the way I took it.
They needed somebody to say that to him. Like you've been cooped up in your house so long, and I feel like you're going mad now. Something that would help the audience understand that that's what's going on, because otherwise we just see a guy who's like trying to get his hand attacked in him and stuff. It becomes like Army of Darkness, but not without the fun.
I can't stop myself from hitting Yeah, it's just.
I guess it'd be whatever the conversation was he had at the beginning. I mean, maybe there was something there that I didn't get or
I didn't get
exactly. There could be, but who the hell knows? Because we couldn't understand him.
Yeah.
So I think a repeated viewing might answer that, but I don't know if it's one that I'll be jumping at to see right away.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of other opportunities
there's a
out
longer version, I may be interested in checking that out. Maybe fast forwarding.
Maybe it's on YouTube. Who knows?
Yeah. So I might.
It seems like it's making its rounds around the festivals and stuff like that.
Well, good. But yeah. Anyway, that was it. That's Escalation. I think I don't even get the title of it, Escalation. Like I don't.
Well, it's building up within himself.
Quickly.
I don't.
It's building up within himself. That's why I took that title into that, and I think that
you needed a
it'd
better
be interesting.
Title.
It'd be interesting to know from him what this really was, and only. And I mean, interpretation could be its own thing, though, for everybody.
See, I think it's definitely a Kevin Smith thing, because he's someone, I don't care who, but someone taught him to fear and respect an escalator.
All right, we're moving on to the last of the short films, and that was Truck Squatch.
Yay!
Which is the one that we wanted to watch the most, and it was the shortest of them all. And
because I know who would not want to see a movie called Truck Squatch.
Okay, so first of all, I'm watching Escalation, right? And I start looking at my watch, and I start looking at my clock on my phone, and I start going, okay, it is now was it 5:50? Oh no, now it's 5:53, 5:56, 5:50. And this is supposed to end at 6. Like, how long is Truck Squatch? Right? And Truck Squatch was a trailer.
Yeah, it was a teaser,
It was
really.
a teaser trailer.
Yeah, 2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes long. So we got it at the end of the thing, which apparently some people came in to watch that they told me that they had missed it the night before, and so they were excited to because they wanted to see a movie called Truck Squatch, which
Right.
I mean, that to me was the one I was just super excited for. When I watched it, I was kind of like, okay, what is, like, it starts off like every camp slasher kind of movie. What Slasher in the Woods? We just watched a short film like that or something, or whatever, where people are trapped in a or in the woods with a killer, right? And it turned out to be a Sasquatch in this one.
Yeah. The other movie was Puppets.
Puppets, yeah. The other one was Puppets. And this one is a slasher, well, not slasher, a Sasquatch movie. So
He's a squasher.
yeah, yeah, I guess that would be the way to describe it. So what is it? Two couples are out. One goes to pee or poop or whatever she's gonna do. And,
Do her business.
Yeah, do her business. She's got was it toilet? He gives her toilet paper and says you can go out there. I don't know if they're planning to camp, or something. I don't know what they're planning to do.
They didn't have anything really to camp
yeah, they
with,
didn't have
but-
anything to camp with. So anyway, she goes to the bathroom and then she hears something, and then something attacks her. We don't know, and we hear the scream. So a guy comes up to check it out, and he can't find her. So he goes out and he flags down a truck, and it was a Sasquatch with a trucker hat. That's Confederate flag trucker hat. And he, like redneck Sasquatch, as Paul pointed out in the thing, which reminded me there's a movie called Alabama Sasquatch that we're going to do
Yes.
someday.
Yeah.
And that sounds like the same thing, like a redneck Sasquatch. And
He
that's
rubs
it.
his ass over, and then it says he's big, he's hairy, and he drives a fucking truck.
That was it.
And
That's
the
how it ended.
movie's currently in production, so clearly this is a teaser for a full-length movie that's to be finished, hopefully coming out, who knows, maybe next year. But I guess it's there to drive attention and to get people talking about it, and job accomplished, man.
Yeah, there you go.
So will that be a future indie film watch, or like a What the Fuck Friday, or one of those? It'll fit somewhere. It'll fit something in there.
Teaser didn't even come off like what the fucky, so I don't think it would be a What the Fuck Friday, but it would probably be an indie film cafe at some point.
Sure. Sure.
We got so many in the works that
I don't know. He's hillbilly Sasquatch with the Confederate flag, with good driving skills, likes to run down people. There's a what the
yeah, definitely.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Somewhere along the line, somebody was going to cross over exploitation with Yeti movies. So there you go.
maybe that's a new subgenre, man. Maybe they should do more of those.
Of course.
I'd be down with more redneck Sasquatches, like Sex Squatch. That's a crazy.
And how have there
Sasquatch.
not been any zombie Sasquatch movies yet?
Zombie Squatch?
Sure.
Squatch?
Sure.
Wow,
Or
is that a
Sasquatch
thing?
doll movies, or I guess there's been an Amityville Sasquatch or Amityville Yeti.
Yeah, Amityville Bigfoot.
Shark
Like-
versus Bigfoot.
What is it? Squatch. Let me see if that's a thing. That sounds awesome.
It does.
All right. If there is no Squatch on IMDb. Oh, there is.
Resurrect an army of undead Sasquatches.
It's in development. It's in development, just like the other one.
Hmm.
So Truck Squatch and then Squatch.
It's Squatch, but do they have the ability to drive vehicles?
Oh no, that's going to be a different movie. So
That's
but
Truck Squatch.
that's Truck Squatch. There you go. Like I like the idea of a redneck Sasquatch who just gets excited about running people over. I literally was so confused as to what Truck Squatch could be about because I thought it was literally
on.
like a Sasquatch truck, or something, or whatever.
Well, there was a big truck called Bigfoot, like one of those monster truck things.
And that's true. They could have done something with that too, like but
That's
I
what he
guess,
should be driving.
but the
That's for
problem
the
with
feature.
But that's the biggest problem with that is like money wise, because isn't
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
like
right.
copy? That's got to
Somebody
be
owns the
against.
rights to that.
Yeah, if that's trademarked by monster trucks or whatever, Bigfoot, because it's called Bigfoot, I think, trucks or whatever.
Mhm.
But anyway, that was Truck Squatch, and I mean, honestly, it was the best. We even
It
said
got,
at
got
the
the
end,
biggest laugh out of everyone. In fact, it
and
got
they,
the only laugh.
yeah, and they got the only like enjoyment from everybody. I feel like I
So,
think
so for you two, you both put that as your number one
that was my number one.
of the
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
four. Okay.
Yeah.
What was your number one?
I probably would still. I probably would take Escalation, but
I,
it's like they're about the same. So I mean,
if it
it's
trimmed
not.
itself down a little bit or
Oh,
something,
absolutely. Yeah,
I
yeah,
probably would have liked it. And I
yeah.
probably would have liked it
I get you.
more than the other. I mean, I did like it more than the other two, you know. I would probably go Truck Squatch as number one, Escalation number two. And I don't know, the 665 and Black Box, I probably put that both together as last, like tied as last, because I didn't enjoy them as much.
I'd have to put 665 a little bit lower because it hit one of those things. Hearing sound wise slitting a baby that just got born. It's just
Yeah.
brutal. That's just brutal. I mean, no, yeah, whatever.
I mean, that was
but yeah,
that was what that they accomplished,
yeah.
what they set out to accomplish. So
I get apparently, yeah, and I guess stabbing a just pregnant woman and getting ready to kill her. I guess they're not really worried about taboo subjects
right,
with going in that direction. So I guess it
No,
doesn't
they
matter
went
there.
there.
they
They went
definitely
there all
went.
right. Yeah. So,
But yeah,
but yeah,
that was good. I mean, what about you, Paul? Did you like Truck Squatch, and which one did you like the
Yeah.
most?
Truck Squatch is the best one. All the other three I kind of put in around the same area.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I like the Escalation a little bit more than the other two at the end because I felt like it had the best direction and the best like cinematography and the best editing and all of that stuff. Like it was
It
well done
did, but it also went on the longest and dragged the most.
and had one of the worst sound designs.
Yeah.
Other than a movie with no subtitles that speaks, Spanish the
so
whole time.
so we're well, yeah. So we're a little different on the top at the top of the thing, but yeah,
I will say one thing for 665. I thought that the demon slash devil getup was kind of cool, and I liked how he kind of came out of nowhere, sort of like you're looking at the wall, and he just sort of appeared and came forward. That was cool. That was probably the best part of that movie, in my opinion.
The demon, I honestly think the demon was the best part, but I would have preferred to understand what was going on with the demon more so. So
Yep, yep, yep.
honestly, and look, I'm not like we're not gonna say like these filmmakers are terrible at all. Like these people are amazing filmmakers. They just the problem with short films and especially at festivals, you're watching these movies, you can't, if you can't hear what they're saying or you don't know what they're saying, then it becomes a problem, with the movie. So that would be my only suggestion for any short film makers out there
Yeah.
making stuff for the festival circuit. Make sure that people can understand what is being said, or if you can have subtitles, do it because it will help.
You're gonna have to
Yeah.
excuse me for a second. Hang on, I'll be right back.
Well, Jonathan, one of the things you're talking about the subtitles, it was kind of interesting because I saw some other short films there, and one of the ones I saw, it was subtitled double. It was double subtitled. It was in French, but it was subtitled in Spanish and English. It had Spanish on one side, English on the other. It was really small print, so it was kind of hard to read, but it was spoken like in French. It was just like you're
What?
hearing one thing, and it was literally blocked. Left half of the bottom screen was Spanish, I think it was, and the right half was English. And I was like, whoa, this is
No,
different.
that's terrible. That is terrible. That's not.
That was
That I
that was one of the ones
understand
yeah.
trying to, but if you're gonna send a movie to America, or whatever, if you're doing a festival in America, do just English. I mean, because Spanish people, like people who speak Spanish, if they can't understand English, I mean, I'm sorry, but like, or whatever, like, and they can't
Yeah.
speak French. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
I
So
just,
yeah, that made it a little bit off. I was like, okay, I got to focus on the right bottom versus the left bottom. So that was a little different, and it was really small now. But that's not, like I said, that wasn't one of these four. So,
yeah,
um, but yeah, that was interesting. But the thing is, and that was so good with Scares That Care is that they were all these were allowed, I mean, to be presented, and then they presented a few features as well. But allowing a forum to share these short films was really good, and whether it hit or not for us individually, or because we had a couple differences, but in general, it gets us talking and seeing what these short film people, what these people are all about and stuff. That's great.
I think a new person was taking over for the film festival. Or unless they did last year too, I don't remember. But she actually, I think she came in and was the one who told us that was the last one of the thing, because I think she had to turn off everything, And I actually, what I liked about Scares That Care festival is that they've done this before, right? They've done the festival for years, and what they had done in the past was they had somebody there that would turn off the movie or restart it or and change everything up. This year, I guess they had everything on a certain block, and it had everything kind of actually on time for certain things. So like the first block, like the first, second, third block would be done, and we were at our last block, right? And so we watched, I guess, the end of something or whatever. We got basically the credits of something, and then all of a sudden it just had the spinning Scares That Care sign for like I would say like 5 minutes or something, kind of a
Yeah,
break.
there was a 5 minute intervention, and that happened again when I saw the because there was two sessions that I was sitting in, and they played five, and then there was an intermission, and there was another one, and there was a long feature, but I didn't stay for the feature of the other one.
Yeah. So then basically you get the spinning Scares That Care image, and you get the movie. And I thought that was really cool. Like I actually liked that they were basically on time. There was nobody switching everything. It was just, because I thought somebody was going to come in and have to switch everything over and fix this all up. But no.
No, I think everything, I probably just, submitted everything digitally. It was all done in one, thing on the computer. You can just set it all up and time it and boom.
Exactly. So they did a really good job with that. And I love that. What were you saying, Joe?
I was just saying, and that's what I was telling when Paul stepped away for a second. That putting these together and giving the opportunity to share these short films in bulk with the audience that is in the horror genre is really good. Now, all these were they all straight horror? Maybe not, but it's still it's a good place to share, and it's good to see this stuff get out
Oh
for an
yeah, it's
audience.
great. Good opportunity for folks.
Yes.
So if you're a filmmaker out there and want to submit to a film festival, aka convention or whatever, I would definitely recommend Scares That Care. I think it's a great place to go there. I mean, I don't know how it was for you, Joe, when you went to the next block, but there wasn't a huge amount of people I saw for that last block. But that was also at the end of the day when people were probably still walking around and checking out some of the things, and it closed at 6. So that's when we got out. So like I think sort of kind of that sucks sometimes, having it be at the end of the day when people really don't want to go there, or whatever, and see your movie, because
the group that I saw, it was building up basically through the time, and then the last one that was in the batch that the first batch that I saw, they had some of the director and some of the production people was there on so we got to talk to afterwards, which was kind of neat because they bridged right into the gap of the space before the next little group started out.
Yeah, I like when they have somebody there who's involved with the production be able to stand up for a few minutes and just say, hey, thanks, and maybe talk a little bit about it.
Absolutely.
It's always fun.
Yeah.
Maybe answer a few questions.
Yeah, if they have a little bit more time to do that stuff, usually I don't think a lot of times they have that time
Right.
to do it. So but yeah, it's a lot of fun. We're going to be submitting stuff. We we had done Scary Story Slumber Party before there, so we're definitely going to be doing like Scream from Campfire there, Lucas and Olivia, when that gets done, that'll be out there. And any of our features and shorts or whatever we want to get out there and show, we'll definitely submit it to Scares That Care.
Makes me want to go out and make some more short films, man. Some little 10-minute movies.
I know.
They're fun. I want to do them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also I would say for anybody making a short film, once again, just make something that's, that definitely stands out, like when we were looking at the titles, we saw Truck Squatch. That was a title that stood out to us. And we said, okay, this is the ones we're going to go see because this has Truck Squatch at the end. Like, that sounds amazing. And it was, like I said, it was the best one. But what I'm saying, in my opinion, it is, it's one of those things where it was a lot of fun to watch them, and you got to make sure they do a good job with it.
Yeah, you got to deliver a Truck Squatch if you're going to have something called Truck Squatch. So
I think they did.
Hopefully the in production is true and they're coming out with a feature for it. And that will be definitely that'll have an audience, I'm sure.
There you go.
Well, I want to say thank you guys. This has been an amazing year for Short Film Saturday. We'll be back next year for brand new season. Don't know.
Got tons ready to go. Can't wait.
We're probably going to start shooting more Short Film Saturdays ahead of time. We're going to probably, I hate to say, we may have it be almost every Saturday because why not? We'll have, these only take us usually about 10 minutes to do, or whatever. 20 total if it's a 10-minute short,
Yep.
So we'll probably
we could knock out 10 in a day, really, if we could.
Yeah. So one day we may just knock out a shit ton and just put them all out. So prepare for season 3 to be just as amazing, if not more amazing.
Yeah,
that's our plan. So thank you guys for checking this out. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and join us next year. Bye.
Bye.